Today is Monday, August 22nd. The year is 2022, and we're absolutely here talking to my friend Tommie Jackson. We just did part 1. This is part 2. We don't know how many parts we're going to do together. But the reason why we're doing these videos, and I meant to say this in the last video, he's setting up his own YouTube channel, and I want you all to make sure that I'm going to put the link in the description. You all subscribe to his channel. He has a lot he wants to talk about, a lot of stuff he wants to do. He's starting his own YouTube channel. And that's why we're here, to help him jumpstart that YouTube channel and I want you guys to go and subscribe to his channel. I'm going to set up the link. We're going to post the videos on my channel and his channel. So I want you all to go subscribe and watch his videos and the stuff that he's going to post. He got a lot of stuff he wants to talk about. So in the midst of our conversation, we were discussing our friendship, going back to 1992, and just issues we had. And y'all hear that noise? That's Grayson over there trying to get back in the house. He can't get in. He's being bad.
Grayson is just his dog, his baby.
He's just over there just being a bad doggy. We see us sitting in the house. We can't let him run around because he's going to come. But anyway, 2001, you find out your HIV. You're living with HIV.
Yes,
How did you handle that?
I didn't. That was the problem. It's so funny because, when a person dies, you go through 7 stages and, grief and anger and all these different stages. And when you find out about HIV, you kind of go immediately to denial. So I was in straight denial, didn't care, wanted to die, and I wasn't taking any medications at all.
Now in Detroit, you go find out you're positive. How? Because it's all different. Atlanta and Detroit, 2 different places. You at your doctor?
There was nowhere to go. There was no help. They didn't have a lot of especially back then in like the early 2000s, the late 90s.
They didn't have anything like.
They didn't have like a lot of these organizations.
Nah, wait a minute now. They saying they didn't have it, or you just didn't go.
Well, they had some organizations that I just did not know about because when you first find out, you don't know what to do. You don't know. You really don't know.
They push you towards these organizations.
Not back then. Not back then. Not in middle Detroit. No, I didn't have that luxury. Luckily, I had insurance, good insurance from Fort Motor Company. Mm-hmm. So I went to a doctor. Gotcha. I didn't have to go to an agency or
So you never did that in Detroit?
I didn't know. I didn't have to.
Gotcha.
So I never even sought them out. But once I did do any little research, once I became an activist, I learned more about these agencies.
Gotcha.
But even still, there weren't a lot of them.
So you just said is at that time, when people would find out their status, there was nowhere to go for help? Or no one pushed a product you just directed and said, you go there? Nothing?
They had
I was in Atlanta, so...
Yeah, so, and again, I assume... Because I didn't have to look for one, I never knew where to look, nor did I have to look. So I don't know about that. And listen to me. I did not have to deal with these agencies until I got to Atlanta. So I had no need for them. So I never knew about them. So where they are, even to this day, I don't know.
But in Detroit, you found out your status, you didn't take the medicines.
Correct.
What did you do?
I just waited to die. I didn't want to be here anymore.
But you were working, going to job.
Yeah, I had to eat and still pay rent and mortgage and car notes, and I had to still. I was a functioning, walking zombie. Now, mind you, I'm on alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
And I'm in full denial from HIV and AIDS. That in and of itself is like a fog that you cannot even explain unless you've gone through it. You have no idea unless you've gone through dealing with the virus.
Now, when you found out your status, did you think that it made you drink and do drugs more?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because I didn't care. You just,
where were you getting this money from to do all these drugs?
I worked for Fort Motor Company.
So you were taking your money?
I got a good...
I know you're making good money, so you did blow all that money on drugs.
I wouldn't say I blew it on drugs because a lot of times, mind you, there were people that I was around that dealt with drugs, dealt drugs, sold drugs. I had it around me.
There was some guy I remember used to date. I remember that time when I came up there. Came to visit and stayed at your house. There was some young guy there that stayed with you.
Well, I had a partner. I will call him my partner. I'm still in touch with him.
Y'all was still. I remember all this now.
He came to visit.
He came to Atlanta and stayed with us in Atlanta. I remember.
He lived with me for quite some time. We were together for about 5 years.
Okay, I remember this now.
He's about 40 now. I think he's 40 years old now. He's going to be 40. Yeah, he's going to be 40.
So how old was he back then?
I met him. He was 21. He was 20 when I met him.
Gotcha.
He's going on. He's
I
38
knew he was
or 39.
young. I remember him coming to Atlanta. I remember that.
He was
I remember us coming to Atlanta.
22 when I met him.
Okay. Y'all were in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Did he know about the drugs and
He's
all
positive
that?
as well. Yeah, we were doing drugs together.
Okay.
That's my point. It was easily available, so it wasn't like I had to spend money. I took care. I was functioning. I took care of all my bills. I never foreclosed on anything, never lost anything. Mm-hmm. I've always been responsible. It wasn't until I moved to Atlanta that I started really, turning my life around in terms of taking care of health. That was when I learned about Grady IDP and Aid Atlanta and these places. So, I didn't have those support systems.
Do you think those support systems
helped?
Would have helped you in Detroit?
I think they would have made me have a different outlook, because I think I wouldn't have felt so isolated. And then for example, my partner who is HIV positive, he didn't want to talk about it. So who do you go to talk to about these things? You don't have a support system, and that's very important when you're dealing with HIV, especially for the first time finding out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I never knew. So you moved back to Atlanta in 2008. And it was 2008 is when the world bottom fell out for everybody. Yeah. The economy tanked. Did you come in 2008?
I left my house in 2000. I literally left the house, called the bank, said, "Come get it." It was upside down. I paid $150 for it. They sold it for $10,000. I was like, you know what? This is ridiculous. 2008
was a rough phase.
It was horrible. So,
but you came to Atlanta and then you stayed with your.
I lived with my cousin for about a year.
Yeah, about a year. Yeah. You said you ended up homeless.
Being homeless, well, thanks to you helped me out a great deal. You had happened to own an apartment building in Midtown Atlanta.
I had a nice apartment building over there.
And you were kind enough and gracious enough to
everybody that knew us said, "Don't let Tommie move in there." And I said, "No, I'm going to let Tommie stay there." I didn't charge Tommie any rent. Right?
That's correct.
How long did you stay there?
Oh, God.
About a year.
Remember, about a year. That's when I got sick. But let me ask you this. So, you said no one wanted me to stay there. But what was the reasoning?
Friends. People who knew. I'm not going to say no names.
Oh, you ain't got to say no names.
But everybody was against me. Hey, don't let him move in there. And I'm like, well, why not let him move in there? The place was empty. It was empty. And I believe my sister had stayed there.
Yeah, your sister did with the kids.
She had stayed. Was she in the same building? Or
I don't remember
the same unit.
I
can't remember.
I don't remember.
The unit came up empty. It was a little small one-bedroom apartment on first floor. It was a nice building, right in the old 4th Ward.
Yeah.
And I said,
it wasn't a good place for a drug addict, though. That's for sure. They had a lot of activity over there.
I can imagine.
But yeah, I stayed there for about a year. That's when I got sick, and then
now this is the thing that I didn't understand. Because maybe I'm confused with the timelines. When were you working for McDonald's?
There, at that time. I worked there for a year. I was a manager for McDonald's.
While staying
at that apartment.
That's what I thought. So, because I got confused.
Yeah.
With the time, I was like, this is the first. I'm old, y'all. I remember you worked at
McDonald's.
I wasn't sure if that was the first time you lived in Atlanta or the second time.
Yeah, that would have been like 2009.
So you were working at the McDonald's while living
in the apartment in 4th Ward.
Right. And you were still having these issues.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I did. Like I said, my alcohol abuse and drug abuse really. I had stopped it for a while. Let's say this way.
Let me say he was the manager at McDonald's.
Yeah,
you were one of the managers.
Yeah, I was a manager at McDonald's. Yeah, right. I managed one of the McDonald's. The one actually out there on Ponce.
They just redid that place. It's beautiful now. They tore it down. It's gorgeous. And I drove by last night on the way back from.
Brings back memories.
And I looked. I said, "That's the McDonald's Tommie's working at." Yeah. So.
But that's when I ended up getting sick. The virus had took full charge. It literally, I went into full blown.
You still were not taking no medications.
Well, let me recall that. Yeah, no, I wasn't. No, I was not. Because let me tell you what happened. They had just came out. I think a tripler was just coming out. Mm-hmm. Because they had a regimen that had required like 3 pills a day. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to deal with it. I was like, you know what? Forget about all that. What I didn't know was succumbing to the virus, how difficult it is and how excruciating, debilitating it can be.
You got sick.
So I get sick. I'm weighing maybe 100 pounds. I looked like death. I knew it. People around me knew it. So a friend of mine, I called him and he rushed me to the hospital. Well, actually, no. I called him from the phone and I drove myself literally up to the hospital, which was not that far. Mm-hmm. And I collapsed in the driveway of the hospital. Mm-hmm. And next thing I knew, I was waking up in the hospital.
Now, because I'm a little confused, did this happen after you stayed there in my apartment?
I was living at the apartment.
You were still staying there?
I was still staying there. And when I got out of the hospital, I was still staying there. I left your apartment and moved in with a roommate that was from hell, that didn't work out.
Okay.
Then I moved with my cousin, another cousin.
Okay.
Then I got my own apartment.
Okay. This is after the hospital.
This all happened in 2009.
2009?
I moved. Let me say it this way.
Okay, yes, 2000. Yeah, my timeline makes sense. You moved in 2008.
Moved to 2008. I moved into your place in 2009. Between 2009 and 10, I ended up moving from your place to my cousin's, then to my apartment.
Now, I remember you got out the hospital. I mean, you were in the hospital. I was bringing Church's Fried Chicken and Taco Bell and all this crazy food and stuff that you could eat when you were finally able to. I don't know if you remember all that stuff, but I picked you up from the hospital.
Yeah, I don't remember probably.
I remember. I came and got, but I don't know what. And y'all, I picked Tommie up from the hospital, and I don't know what happened.
Well, during the time I was there. I got there. It was October. I think I got out in January because they didn't think I was going to make it. The doctor literally said.
So you were in the hospital for how many months?
About 3.
Yeah, you were there for a while.
He literally said to me that if I did not take this medication, because I was refusing to take the medication, I had 2 aunts that flew in from Ohio and begged me to take the medication.
Why didn't you want to take the medicine?
I didn't want to be here anymore. I was depressed. I've been seeing a psychiatrist for depression. This is some of the things that I really want to parlay into my own channel. I really want to be an activist towards healing people and helping people to understand that it's okay to go down a path that I've gone down. And if you are going down a path like this, you can be okay. So yeah, I literally did not want to be here anymore. So through depression, HIV brings depression.
Drinking and drugs wouldn't help.
Drinking and drugs doesn't
help. So you
help.
were drinking and drugs to lift your spirits?
I think drinking and drugging is a Band-Aid situation.
Your people in your circle, you were surrounded by a bunch of crazy folks back then.
I think
did they help?
I think
scenario.
I think enablers are enablers, and yes, of course, I surrounded myself around enablers. So that's and codependent people who were dependent on drugs just like I was. So yes, that's one of the reasons why today I have 1 or 2 friends, and that's all I need. I don't need anybody else because what I've come to realize is most people are not good for you. Especially if you are dealing with drugs and they're dealing with drugs, it's the best to leave them alone.
Gotcha. So, in 2000, you got out of the hospital. How did you get involved with? Because I'm the timeline again. You join an organization?
Well, I was a client for Aid Atlanta first, and as I became a
patient,
I was not so much a patient, and I didn't see any of they didn't have doctors back then.
Okay.
They just had programs to help you survive and live through this crisis. Mm-hmm. So I was a client in their self-management, what they call self-management program, and they had various components to their organization that benefited me. Uh-huh. When I was in the hospital, I had no income other than working at McDonald's, and it wasn't just doing it. So by the time I got to the hospital, long story short, within about maybe 4 weeks, disability kicked in, which is unheard of. That tells you if disability is going to give you a check during your illness.
That's how close to death.
That's how close to death a person is. And to this day, I'm living with HIV and still chronic depression, and I'm still living with migraine headaches and other issues that have compounded on my HIV. Therefore, I'm still in a disabled situation.
So, because you allow the virus to cause so much damage to your bodies and your kidneys, your liver. Were you on dialysis or what happened?
I didn't have to go on dialysis. I didn't get that far, luckily enough. But the medications are toxic to the liver and the kidneys. And again, I am living.
So you were almost laying in the hospital, almost died. They approved you for disability.
Yeah, exactly.
Social Security began paying it. You pretty much worked all your life.
Exactly, I have, and the reason I bring up the disability piece is because that's what has been sustaining my livelihood to this day. Although that I'm not cured, I still have succumbed to the virus.
You still have some issues that come
daily.
Health
issues that I still have to remain on disability.
Gotcha.
So with that being said, I did start working for Aid Atlanta as a part-time HIV advocate. My goal was to help other people, and that's what I did. I started public speaking.
Did you get any pushback when you started public speaking?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there were times when people would ask, "Well, why are you telling people your business?" It's not about telling people my business. It's about if I could lift someone else up and help them identify and understand what corner to turn or where to go next for help. Then that's really why my life was spared. Example, I'm in a grocery store and this young man walks up to me, taps me on the shoulder. He says, "You're Mr. Jackson." And I turned around and I said, "Do I know you?" He said, "Yeah, you came to my school and I want to thank you for speaking to me about how to use a condom, how to put one on, and how to love myself and how to identify with what it means to go get tested for HIV." And he said, "You've literally saved my life." I was in tears listening to this young man. It validated my purpose.
So you weren't embarrassed about your HIV status?
It's not so much that I was embarrassed. I had to learn how to identify with what it was and where I was and who I was and how to navigate through life with it.
But you got comfortable with discussing it?
I'm not going to say I'm comfortable with discussing it. I'm going to say that it's not a subject that bothers me to talk about. But I don't think anybody should ever be comfortable. So no, I'm not saying I'm comfortable. I'm just okay with having to deal with it. I've accepted.
But you at peace with it.
I'm at peace with it. Yes, you can say that.
Okay.
I'm comfortable enough to say that I'm able to have a conversation about it because I know I have to.
Now, medicines for HIV have improved tremendously.
Yes, they have.
And people are living. So there's no reason for anyone to have gone through the path that you have. Of course, you and I both know it's still happening. People are still getting sick in the hospital, damn near dying from HIV. And then, why is that?
Say that again.
Why are people still getting sick, contracting HIV, and allowing it to go to a point where they end up damn near dead in the hospital in 2022?
Well, I don't have the statistics on that, so I can't speak to that. I don't know who's gotten sick and how long and how many are what that scale is.
It still happens.
But I know that it
no matter what the number is, it shouldn't be happening.
Right. I know that it can still be transmitted. I know that people are still not taking precautions. I know that there are medications out there, like for example, PrEP is a medication that is to help in aiding the transmission of HIV.
Mm-hmm. You talk about PrEP with your people. Everyone should.
Well, it just came out. It's
past decade.
Well, it's been out, but they just
about 10 years now.
Well, no, that's not true. That's not true.
I started on PrEP back in 2012, 2013.
But
this is 2022.
Okay, well, let me say it this way. My knowledge of PrEP, when I worked with the company that I worked for, we weren't just administering PrEP until it was right about maybe 2015, I want to say.
Okay.
Right around 2015. So it's not. This is the funny part, and this is the part I wanted to bring up. PrEP and triple is the same thing.
Oh, right.
It's the same pill. So the pill's been here.
Sort of the same thing. Same medication.
It's basically the same medication.
So the triple has a little bit more in it.
But what it does is my point is it's been here.
Yes.
They just started using it as this other form of.
You do know that
method.
all HIV medications can be used as a form of PrEP.
Right.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know that, but all HIV medications can be used.
Yeah, because what
PrEP.
it's doing is it's diminishing the number of viruses in your body. So once the virus in your body is so low, you don't run the risk of contracting the viruses as frequently or as high as you could if the virus is high in the body.
All right. So living with HIV, how many years?
That I knew of. I had to have had it 10 years prior to actually knowing that I had it. So I think I was infected in 94 and I succumbed to the virus, and to this day still have complications. Hence why I'm still not able to work full time.
What do you want?
Is 2001.
Your YouTube channel, we're working on this YouTube channel. We're going to get this thing set up. And what do you want people to know about Tommie Jackson?
I think I've said it. I just want people to know that.
What are they going to see on your YouTube channel?
It's
we want them to subscribe.
This is really a new process for me right now, but for right now, my whole platform for you as an audience is to tune in, to learn, to identify what self-respect looks like, what HIV looks like, how to deal with it if you are positive, and how to stay negative, how to identify with drug abuse and alcoholism if that is a problem for you, and how to navigate through that process.
All right, so we're going to conclude this now. Today is Monday, August 22nd, and we will continue this tomorrow with more videos. And I'm going to show you all a link for his channel. You'll set that up. But anyway, today is Monday, August 22nd, the year 2022, and we will continue these conversations. And I'll also have the link for Tommie Jackson's YouTube channel. You'll see it in the description. Just click on it and go subscribe, and share this video, and also subscribe to his channel. All right, we're out of here, and we'll be back again tomorrow.
Ciao.